Okay, so to start this out, I want you to flick your hands out like this, just to kind of release any excess tension in them. Good. From there, go ahead and grab a hold of the elbow, flex your wrist, and we're gonna do some circles around, trying to avoid any twisting of the ulna and radius in the forearm. Just the wrist by itself. Bring it through about 5 one way and 5 the other way. Don't forget to go to fully down like that and full to the top, and also hitting that side to side motion, right? So you're going all the way through, around. Other side, start with flexion. Just a light little warm up before we get into the main stretching portion of this. Now, what are these going to do? What are these going to do? These are going to, now, what are these going to do? These are going to both stretch out and also allow your wrists and hands to adapt to some of the stresses they're going to undergo when doing handstand training or anything involved being on your hands. Doing this as a daily practice will accumulate over time and help to build a sense of resiliency inside your wrists. So we're going to start out with both hands flat, spreading those fingers out as much as possible. So to do that, you want to have your fingers spread apart at the top, and then as you press them down, they're going to spread out even more like the roots of a tree. Then from there, I want you to make sure your elbows are straight. So try to get your elbow pits to face forward, or try to get your tricep to fully contract so that you have your hands forward like that. From this position, you're going to lean forward slightly so your shoulders try to pass up your wrists, and they're going in the direction of the middle finger, okay? So you're trying to push your shoulders in the direction of the middle finger. Do a couple of pulses forward and then hold one for about 5 to 10 seconds forward. As far as how much pressure you should feel in this, if you feel any pressure in this area and it's too much, like let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you don't want this to go in above a 5 right now, okay, for yourself. Also, you want to make sure not to lift the palm up so that your fingers stay on the floor and your palm is up. That's going to be something else we're going to do. So keep that palm flat in the ground, all right? So you have that a few times, forwards and back. Now keeping those elbows straight, let's rock side to side a little bit. So we're going toward the thumbs and pinkies, trying to keep those palms flat and not going much farther than them staying flat. And you feel the weight kind of go from one finger to the next as it goes across the palm. Good. From there you can shake your hands out in between each one of these. As you start to feel that little bit of tension rising up in there. Okay, let's turn our hand to the side. You can brace it at your elbow. Keep that arm straight again. From here, you're going to lean to the side. Again, we're leaning toward the middle finger. Okay, going that way, so your shoulders pushing yourself to the side like that. And from there, you can give a little bit of tension or squeezing that hand into the floor a little bit. And that can kind of help you also warm up a little bit more of the muscle there. Switch to the other side. Spread the fingers. Block at the elbow. Lean the shoulder toward the fingertips. Rocking back and forth that way. Getting all the way out there. Give it a couple of squeezes in the hand. So what are those squeezes? The squeeze is just like this. But obviously, since I can't squeeze through the floor, then I'm just going to be doing a light squeeze like that. You can see my hand kind of coming, I think the knuckles, my digits coming off the floor there as I'm squeezing the ground, all right? And yours may not, but that's okay. Now we're going to turn the hands around. Now they're facing backwards. If you can't get them all the way backwards, it's okay. Just do your best. Keep the elbows straight. And from there, we're going to lean back toward where the fingertips are pointing. Keep leaning back. Keep leaning back. You can bend the elbows a little bit this way, but mostly try to keep those elbows straight. A few pulses backward and then hold one for about 5 to 10 seconds at the end. Good, shake those hands out. One more we're gonna be doing on the front. So you're gonna put your hand forward again, place the palm into the top of the wrist right here. So you're gonna create this extra bit of support on top of it so you can lean further forward. So you're placing weight on top and then leaning as far forward as you can. From this side here, I'll show you. Okay, I'm keeping the elbow straight, lean as far forward as I can. And then I'm gonna do a side to side motion like this. Okay, the other hand. Put the palm on top of the other one, lean forward, and go side to side with it. Good. Go ahead and flick those hands out again. And now from here, you're going to put, please make sure that you're on top of a soft surface when you're doing this. Some of these stretches you can do on a harder ground, but when it starts doing the back of the wrist stretches, you really can cause some, it's pretty painful to go on the back of the wrist this way, just the way the hand is developed. So make sure you're on something soft. I recommend like folding up a yoga mat about 4 times if that's the least thing that you have, or getting yourself just a thin panel mat. Maybe even those cutout squares, those foam squares or foam puzzle pieces they use. So now let's turn the hand upside down like that. You're going to put your, oh, I forgot one stretch. So before, after we do these ones, all these little down ones, you're going to also turn the hand around so it's facing the other direction. So turn it around like this, put your other hand on top. So you're bracing it again, and then you're going to go through these little bit of spirals, like that. And this one you can bend the elbow and straighten it a few times. You can also lean toward those fingertips coming this way. So the other side here, okay. Here's a little bit of spiral action with elbow straight, then some bending and straightening. And then lean toward those fingertips, okay, all the way this way. Good, now we can go to the back of the wrist. So let's go ahead and put our knee into our palm, almost right here where the wrist breaks at. Put that over to the other side on both of them. Be careful with this one too, because if you lean too far forward, you'll end up trapping your hands under it and you can fall on your face, like this. Okay, so we don't want that to happen, right? So make sure that you don't lean too far forward. So from here, you're gonna keep those elbows straight, and then you're going to lean back like this, and you'll feel a pretty intense stretch on the back of your wrist there. I really like this one a lot for myself. So really pulling back there as hard as you can. Up to you really is how much weight you put into it. Come on out of that, shake them out a little bit. Now, here's another one. So from here, I'm gonna put my wrist on the back of the ground. I'm gonna make a small fist. Use my other hand to help make that fist. I'm gonna keep my elbow straight here. So see how my elbow straightens? And then from there, I'm gonna lean toward it. This one's a lot harder for most people, so lean as far as you can toward the other one. And then when you get as far as you can out, try to squeeze that fist a little bit more. It might make your forearm cramp, but in the long run, this is gonna be very useful for you, okay? Other side, put that wrist down, okay? Make a fist, then use the other hand to help make the fist tighter. From there, straighten the elbow and lean this direction as far as you can. Your elbow will want to bend, don't let it. So if you can only get this far with your elbow straight, that's fine. But try not to do this. This doesn't really help you in any way. Really try to get that elbow straight as best you can, and it will, over time, the consistency will work itself out. So, into the side as far as you feel you can, then squeeze that forearm. Again, it might cramp up, and that's okay. Shake that hand out. Good, now we're gonna go through some back and forth wrist action. So with both the wrists down like this, okay, you're gonna rock through the middle and then they're gonna come together. So you're going over your fist now, okay? If your elbow's bent a little bit this time, it's okay. Going back and forth. Do about 3 or 5 times. You can do more if you want, but 3 or 5 is pretty good in my opinion. Good. Next one we're gonna do is pushing through the fingertips, okay? So after you come through here, push through the fingertips. Here, through the fingertips. Here, through the fingertips. Here, through the fingertips, okay? Did it a few times. Now let's get into your fingertips themselves. So we're gonna go back to the front of the hand. So this time keep your fingers together, okay? You can press them down flat and you're gonna take the palm of your hand and put it on top of the knuckles, okay? So if you see from here, my palm's gonna go on top of the knuckles, so I'm gonna keep the fingers down and allow my palm to come off the ground. So I'm gonna lift my palm up and keep my fingers down, all right? So if you're able to get the palm up pretty high, up to about 90 degrees, like straight up, that's a pretty good thing. I have a lot harder time with this one, so I just focus on this position here and getting that up and down a little bit, kind of mobilizing that area. Same thing with the other side. I hold it down and then I lift up the palm of the back. As you can see from this side, a little bit easier. Okay, I can lift this side up a little bit better than the other side. Lift it up. You can hold for time too, as well. So you have those on both sides. If you can already get your palm up pretty high compared to where your fingers are, so like if you were like this with the palm is up and the fingers are down, then you can do this next one, which are like wrist push-ups in a way, or fingertip. I don't like calling them push-ups really, they're just more like roll-throughs. But all you're doing from here is just pushing and lifting the palm up and putting the weight into your fingertips. Try to keep your elbows straight and you're just going through that motion, right? You can do them forward too, going this way. Take some sensitivity, okay? So you go through that motion. The next one would be actually pushing through the fingertips themselves. You can do those 2 different ways. So if you go forward with them, okay, then as you're coming up, you get these 3 fingers right here. Okay, so as you're coming up, those 3 fingers there. To get the pinky involved, so like that. Okay, do about 5 or 10 of those. Now to get the pinky involved, you gotta go outward. Okay, so outward with it. And you can put as much weight into these as you feel you can take. So for me, I'm pretty comfortable with about right here with my weight, okay? Some people might have to just be here and just do kind of a passive one for a while, so that's okay. All right, next one is gonna be supporting yourself on your fingertips. So putting the index finger down first, hold for about 10 seconds on the index finger. Then we're gonna go to the middle finger, okay? So you're there, holding that for about 10 seconds. From there, we're gonna move over to the ring finger. And then from there, go to pinkies, okay? And then thumbs. Okay, good. So next up, we're gonna have some more back of the wrist stuff. So we already did this one, right? And so we went back and forth here. We did this one as well. Next one you're gonna be doing is, oh yeah, one of my favorites is from the palms facing down, like so. You're gonna let them twist toward, you're gonna roll toward the thumbs. So this is where my thumbs are. I'm gonna roll them toward the thumbs. And so I get this twisting motion. It's a really good way to get the back right here of your wrist. So going through here, and again, you can put as much weight as you want. I lean pretty far back for this one. As you can see right here, I have to come back pretty far in order for me to be able to do this without hurting myself. Like I'm up all the way up here, I can still do it, but the intensity of it is a lot harder on me. So you just got to be aware of that, all right? So you're going to spiral through that. You can even start from the back like this, and and then twist all the way through. Here, all the way through. Here, all the way through. Okay. I have two more for you. This one is going to be pulses, or squeezes. So you're going to grab the floor. If you look at my fingers here, okay, I'm going to try and grab the floor, but I want to try and keep this part of my hand. So my goal is to keep this part of my hand on the floor, and I'm going to try and grab the floor. Okay? So my palms are down, elbows are straight, and I'm going to squeeze the floor. Squeeze the floor and squeeze the floor a few times through, right? And I can give a really good squeeze as hard as you can, all right? Be careful though, maybe the first couple of times you don't want to strain your hands. Last but not least, you need a little bit of elevated surface. So this is a little bit higher than you need to be. About an inch off the ground is what you want. You're gonna place your fingertips on top of that, like so, okay? And then from there, you want to lean forward. So this is just adding on more into the fingertips itself. But your palms, this part of your hand's going to drop down like that, and the fingers will be lifted up. So from here, get my elbows as straight as I can and let them flare out like this. This is flared elbows. Keep them in and lean forward. And again, do a few pulses, and then you want to hold for about 10 seconds or so.